Hello everyone and welcome to ButteredGaming. I'm ButterToast the Third, and today I'm going to be showing off another one of my Magic the Gathering decks. Now, I usually have a name for these, but really today I don't know what to call this one. It's blue, not blue at all, not blue at all. Green-red. Let's see, there's where the island stops, yep. Or not islands. Goodness, I am just stuck on blue today. Blue lands for some reason. So it's green, red, and we've got nine forests, 10 mountains, and our assorted others. We've got a Lenoa Reborn. My camera's dying. A Lenoa Reborn that enters the battlefield tapped, but you also can tap it and add a green mana to your mana pool. Of course, it's a land that doesn't even... whatever. But the special thing about it... Okay, we have two Lenoa Reborns. Man, I'm just not doing so good today in this video. But at any rate, we have two Lenoa Reborns. And their special ability, wow, that is not even in camera. I apologize. Not doing so good in this video. Sorry. The special ability thing that I'm trying to talk about here is Graft 1. It does come on the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then you can move it whenever something comes on the battlefield. So that's those. We can put them wherever we'd like. Then we've got a couple Kazandu Refuges. If you can even see those. I'm trying a wider screen angle today, so maybe we'll just come in a little closer so you can see what it is I'm trying to talk about here. There we go. So it enters the battlefield tapped as well, and when it enters the battlefield, you get to gain 1 life. And then it gives a red or green mana. Put it wherever we'd like. Last land kind of was we have the Rage Pits, which adds a colorless mana, but then you can also pay a mountain and a forest and tap it, and then target creature gets +1/+1 and trample until end of turn. So that's pretty good as well. This deck focuses a lot on +1/+1 counters, so I wouldn't really know what to call it, but that's that. So that's our lands, and now we're going to get into our lovely, lovely creatures. Let's just grab those. Ooh. Okay, then I found a couple more forests. So however many forests I said, add 2. We're back with the creature section, and we're going to start off with a couple Deadly Recluses. So a lot of you probably know what these are. It's 2 mana, a colorless, and a forest, for a 1/2 Reach Death Touch, which is good for just blocking stuff and encouraging people not to block. A lot of my light just went away. There, it's better. Then next we've got a couple Valley Remnants. So there they are. So this is a 6 mana cost, 4 colorless, a mountain, and a forest, for a 6/3, but you can also mountain or forest cycle for 2, meaning that, for those of you who don't know, you can pay 2 of any color, discard this card right out of your hand, and then you get to search your library for a mountain or forest card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle. You can do the mountain or the forest because it has both mountain cycling and forest cycling, so that's good if you don't have enough mana for something, or if you actually want to use it, you can. So next we have a Ghor-Clan Savage, which is 5 mana, 3 colorless, 2 forest, for a 2/3 with Bloodthirst. There's a lot of Bloodthirst in this deck too, so that's one of them. Next we've got one of our Krosan Tusker. I say that like there's more, but there's only one. So this is a 7 mana cost card for 5 colorless, 2 forest. For cycling, 3. Pay 2 colors, 1 forest, to discard this card and draw a card. If you want to actually play it on the field, though, it's 6/5. You can, and then when you cycle it, you get to also search for a basic land card and then put it in your hand. So this is a very diverse card. It's good also for cycling is actually a good way to go in that card, because you get to search for a land and you get to draw a card. So next we've got a couple Blood Ogres. 3 mana cost. Kind of covering up with my thumb there, my bad. 2 colorless, 1 mountain. For a 2/2 with Bloodthirst 1 and First Strike when you get it on the battlefield. So that's a pretty nice card. If you can get the Bloodthirst, it's a 3/3 with First Strike, which is pretty decent, and it's not very expensive, so it's pretty early. 3/3, First Strike, not bad. Next we've got our Zhur-Taa Druid. It's 2 mana, a mountain and a forest for a 1/1 with tap, and you get to add a forest to your mana pool. And also, when you tap it for mana, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. So that's nice too, because you get more mana, plus you're also dealing damage to your opponent. Next, we've got a Satyr Hedonist for 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 forest. And then you also get to pay, one of those on the field, you can pay a mountain to sacrifice it and add 3 mountains to your mana pool. So you get a net gain of 2 mountain, basically. And it's a 2/1 when it is on the field, so that's not too bad. Next we've got an Orcish Lumberjack. These are pretty cool looking, but they're not my favorite personally. It is only a 1 mana cost, 1 mountain for a 1/1, but you can tap it and sacrifice a forest, and you get to add 3 mana of any combination, forest or mountain, to your mana pool. So it's pretty decent if you're really struggling for mana, but I don't know, it's not my favorite personally. So now we've got this Crowned Ceratok, which is, I'm not really sure how to say that, which is why I laughed, but it's a 4 mana cost card, 3 colorless, 1 mountain for a trample 4/3. Which is not bad by itself, and then each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample, so there are a few Bloodthirst, and then we have a couple cards that'll give +1/+1 counters, so they'll all get trample, which is pretty nice, especially if you give them a lot of +1/+1 counters. I'm saying a lot, I apologize. Alright, I'm going to try to stop saying Next we've got our Kavu Predator here, which is a 2 mana cost card. I feel like I may have had another one of these. I guess not. Oh, I'm saying again. I apologize. So we have our Kavu Predator here. Is that again? I'm gonna yell at myself every time I do that. 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 forest rather, for a 2/2 trample, and whenever an opponent gains life, you get to put +1/+1 counters on Kavu Predator. So it's a little tricky to use. I have never really gotten it too strong before, but hey, I mean, depending on the deck you're fighting against. So next we've got this Skarrgan Skybreaker, my apologies, for 7 mana, which is 4 colorless, 2 mountain, and a forest, for a 3/3 with Bloodthirst 3. You can pay 1 to sacrifice him and deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So I've actually used that to go ahead and take out creatures, even players. Next we've got our Conquering Manticore for 6 mana, which is 4 colorless, 2 mountains. For a 5/5 flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to gain control of target creature and opponent controls until the end of turn, and then you untap that creature and it gains haste until end of turn. So that's a really nice one too. I like to use that one. Next up, we've got a Skarrgan Firebird for 6 mana. Again, same as our Conquering Manticore over there. 4 colors, 2 mountains. My bad. Drop it all over the place. For a 3/3 Bloodthirst 3. Flying, and then you can also pay 3 mana to return it from your graveyard to your hand, and then you can only activate it if an opponent was dealt damage this turn. So it's kind of, it's going for, its creature type is Phoenix, so it's kind of going for that whole regenerate, Phoenix regenerates from the ashes kind of going thing, but It's pretty good. I've never really used its effect before. I've been too busy using other things. So we've got a couple Gorehorn Minotaurs here for 4 mana. 2 colorless, 2 mountains. I said again. For a 3/3 Bloodthirst 2. So again, you are seeing quite a few Bloodthirst in here, which is nice. The problem with it is that you do need to actually hit your opponent. But the good thing is about that is we do have instants that will do it for us, as you can see there, but that's for later. Next up, we've got a Troll Ascetic for 3 mana, a colorless, and 2 forest, for a 3/2 hexproof and pay 2 to regenerate Troll Ascetic. So that's good for like blocking and stuff. If you need to gain time or something, you never know. So here we have our Crater Hellion for 6 mana, same as our Concrete Manticore and our Skarrgan Firebird. 4 colorless, 2 mountains for a 6/6 with Echo 6. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to basically pay for another one, but it's only the first upkeep after you play it, so it's not too bad. And I have used it on the battlefield before, but when it enters the battlefield, it deals 6 damage to each other creature. So it hits your own creatures, which it's kind of a bummer, but I've used it to good effect before, and I don't know, it's helped me before, so it's a decent card. So up next, we've got our Deus of Calamity for 5 mana. Each of those can either be mountain or forest. Then you get a 6/6 trample on the battlefield, and when it deals 6 or more damage to an opponent, you get to destroy a target land that opponent controls. So that's a really nice card as well. I just like it. I don't know. I've used it to some pretty good effect before, but I don't know. It's just a pretty nice card. There's only one of them in here though, so you only get it so often. Next up, we've got our Polukranos World Eater. As you can see, it is foil for 2 mana, or my apologies, 4 mana total, 2 colorless, 2 forest, and it is a 5/5, but it's got monstrosity XX forest. So basically, you can pay X mana twice plus a forest and give it monstrosity, which is kind of iffy because you can only get half of what your mana total is, but it's not too bad. But then also when it becomes monstrous, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures your opponents control. Each of those creatures deals damage equal to its power to Polukranos. So basically, you just get to deal damage. You just get to basically fight, quotes, your opponent's creatures when it becomes monstrous. But if you get it monstrous high enough, you can destroy some good stuff. You never know. So we've got our last sprinkling of cards here. It's a sprinkling of instants, sorceries, and an enchantment or two, an artifact, I believe. So whatever they are, here they come. So I showed you this guy earlier. We only have one in here. It's a Volt Charge, and it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. So again, that's pretty good for using your Bloodthirst. So I should probably get more of those if I don't have more in here already. Oh, actually I do. I have another Volt Charge right there. So 2 Volt Charges. Those are the place as well. Nothing else. Alright, so that should be good, the rest of that. And next up, we have our Beast Within. And it's a 3 mana cost for... Oh, sorry. Hold up. Volt Charge, 3 mana cost as well. 2 colorless, 1 mountain. Moving on. So Beast Within, 3 mana cost as well. 2 colorless, 1 forest this time. For destroy target permanent, its controller puts a 3/3 green beast creature token on the battlefield. So it's kind of a trade. You just have to decide what's worth getting rid of. Because if they have It just says permanent, so if they have something like a Planeswalker, that's a permanent. You can get rid of that and give them a token instead, which is, I think, probably worth it. You never know. Next we've got our Terrifying Presence here, which prevents all combat damage that would be dealt by creatures other than target creature this turn. So that's good. I don't know, not so good in this deck specifically, but it's pretty decent. It's decent enough. 2 mana cost, a colorless and a forest. Forgot to show you that. So next we've got, there we are, a Shower of Sparks, which is another good Bloodthirst card. It's a 1 mana cost for a mountain for 1 damage to creature and 1 damage to player. So if you only need to deal 1 damage to a creature to kill it, then that's perfect, but I don't know how much good it's going to do other than getting you your Bloodthirst. So next we've got an Destructive Revelry, my apologies, for 2 mana, a mountain and a forest, and you get to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then it deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. So again, good for getting Bloodthirst, but you can also use it to get rid of an annoying permanent of some kind, artifact or enchantment only this time. But hey, it does a little bit of both. So next we've got a couple Prey Upon. So it's a 1 mana cost forest for target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So basically, if you want to get rid of a creature and you have a good, say, Bloodthirst creature that's higher than theirs, you can just fight it. So next we've got a Regrowth here for 2 mana cost, a colorless and a forest, and you get to return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It doesn't specify what kind of card, so if you just got something good in the graveyard you want, then you can bring it back. It's perfect. So next we've got a Pyroclasm, which is 2 mana cost, a colorless and a mountain, for 2 damage to each creature. So it's decent enough. I mean, it's probably not going to kill too many creatures, but hey, if you got a bunch of little stuff that you want to get rid of, and then it only leaves, say, 1 big creature or something, and then you can attack it and finish it off the rest of the way, it'll be okay. Fires of Yavimaya is next. That's a little strange name. 3 mana cost, a colorless, a mountain, and a forest, for giving creatures you control haste. And it also, you can also sacrifice it. So it's an enchantment, and whenever, as long as it's on the field, as long as it's a permanent, your creatures have haste. But if you can sacrifice it and give target creature a +2/+2 until end of turn. So good enough if you want to rush for something and you're just like, I either have tons of creatures coming on the battlefield all with haste and I can just smash you in the face, or you can sacrifice it, rush at somebody and deal 2 damage and try to finish something off, or even finish a person off. So last but not least, we've got our dragon. Sorry for that little interruption there. I ran out of batteries in my camera on the very last card. But here it is. We have our Dragon Blood, and it is 3 colorless mana to put this on the field, and then you can pay 3 and tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So again, more +1/+1 counters. So it might even be good to get more of those Crowned Ceratoks and stuff. But so that's really gonna be it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I always welcome your input and everything, so please feel free to message me, comment me, whatever. Tell me what I can do better. I actually got a nice comment on the last Magic video that I did. He helped me out with the deck a little bit. I'm probably going to go ahead and follow his advice. So again, feel free, let me know. See the end of the video or the description below for a list of cards in the deck that I just showed. And thank you very much for watching. Hope you come again next time.